Hello and welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I'm Eva Maria, your Monday hostess, and this week's topic is interspiritual relationships. You could sort of say that I'm in one in a way, though the divide in my interspiritual relationship, I think, is not as great as the divide in some interspiritual relationships. Mine, now obviously you know that I am a magical practitioner, as well as a chaos magician. I consider myself to be a witch in the sense of it being sort of an umbrella term. A witch can apply to many different sorts of magical practitioners, depending what magical path you're on. Many different people will identify with the term witch. I am one of those people as well, but I particularly call myself a chaos magician because, in specific, because that really does specifically capture the fact that I follow the six core principles and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes I'll just refer to myself as a witch, or I'll just say I'm a witchy person, or whatever. But anyhow, my husband, he is a pagan, but he is not a magical practitioner. However, what makes things work between us is respect. And I think respect ultimately is what helps many people, no matter how big or small the divide is in an interspiritual relationship, to be able to function and flow. Another thing I think that makes our situation easier is that we don't have kids. At least not human kids. Our fur babies, they're not really concerned with religion or spirituality in the way that human children would be, because I believe, hey, I could be wrong, I believe that animals, their sort of spirituality is just within their nature. They're just true to their nature, and that's their spirituality, so to speak. They just go with their natural flow of who and what they are, So it's not really a question of like, what does mommy believe? What does daddy believe? What's up with why they don't believe the same thing, or anything like that. But I think even still, it is possible for people with children, with human children, to be able to sort of bridge the gap. And again, it comes down to respect. And it also comes down to, I feel, honesty with children, but also explanation to children. Now, we've covered children and witchcraft a few weeks ago, and a lot of the things I said there, I think would apply here. Don't hide things from your kids, but maybe don't shove things down their throat either. I think it's very important to stress the fact that there is no right or wrong when it comes to the differences in people's beliefs. Maybe from a young age, it would be very beneficial to just explain, like, well, mommy and daddy believe different things, and, different people believe different things, because that's just the way the world is. The world is full of variety. People grow up different ways. People have different traditions. People have different cultures. People have different things that they believe for different reasons. And these differences make the world a beautiful, interesting place. So, we respect that everybody's different. And I think it's important to explain also to the children that, no, like I said before, no way is right or wrong. And that, there are even people out in the world who don't believe in spirituality at all. And that's okay. The fact that they don't believe is a belief in itself. And that's something to respect as well. And I think it's also helpful, let's say holidays come around. Let's say let's say that both parents are particularly of a certain path or religion or whatever. I think when there's kids in the house, it's important to acknowledge both parents' spiritualities or paths or religions. Maybe celebrate both sets of holidays or both kinds of observances. You could say, well, today is a special day in Mummy's religion, let's say, and I'm just going to say Ostara. Okay, it's Ostara in Mommy's religion. And, today we're going to celebrate that so we can learn more about what Mommy believes. And then another time, let's say, I'm just going to throw something out there. Let's say it's, what other holiday we're going to throw out there? Let's say that, let's say it's like December and it's like the dad's Jewish, and let's say it's like, hey, today is the start of Hanukkah, and daddy's Jewish, and this is a holiday in daddy's religion, and we're going to learn about that today, and then, or now we're going to learn about that. We're going to celebrate Hanukkah to see what that's like, and I think it can really be a learning experience for children, but it can also make bridging the gap a fun thing, because it's like you're acknowledging that each parent, has a different background, and you're letting the children explore those different backgrounds. But I think it's very important, even in doing that, to also make sure to avoid any kind of dialogue that might imply that one way is correct and one way is not. And if your child ever asks you something along the lines of, well, Tommy at school said that, if people aren't Christian, they're going to hell. If your child asks you, like, what's up with that? I think it matters to have an answer to a question like that. I think it's important to explain to a child if that should come up. Or even, let's say, if someone on the street or wherever, somebody should just come out with some kind of, you know, zealous crap like that, to explain to a child that some people, they don't understand that there's variety in the world, that people are different for a reason, because we're all made that way. We're all supposed to be that way. We were all born different because we're all supposed to be different, okay? Some people think that they're right and everybody else is wrong because, they have twisted thoughts about the world. They wish that the world was full of all the same kind of people. People that look the same, act the same, think the same, but the world would be a really boring place if it was like that, wouldn't it be? So then in such a case, after explaining that to a child, I would personally, if it was my child, I would say, just never mind people that say things like that. Just walk away. Never mind them. Don't even pay them any mind. Those people, they're just, they don't understand, okay? They don't understand. And just don't even worry about it, because if you sit there and you try to explain it to them and you try to argue with them, they're not going to change. You're not going to be able to change their mind most of the time, and it's just going to be a back and forth argument, and it's just a waste of your time. Just don't associate yourself with people that are going to judge you like that. You're above that. And I think, at least, in taking that approach, I think it kind of gives a child, a good exposure, again, to the faiths of both parents, and I think it does answer the question, when they should maybe venture out into the world, if others should, challenge that by saying, oh, this is wrong, that's right. I know that this discussion I'm having with you now is bordering, again, back on the discussion we had weeks ago that touched upon witchcraft and children, which also veered off into religion and children. But for couples that have different, not opposing faiths, but differing faiths, or different spiritualities. If there are kids in the equation, let's face it, it's a factor. So that's why I'm back here with this part of this tangent I'm sort of going off on. This is still, it's a tangent in a sense, but it still is relevant, I think, to the conversation. And as I said in the other video, I think it's important as well, you know, in situations like that, not to force a child to choose between one or the other parent's faiths. Allow them to make up their mind on their own. Don't pressure them to adhere to one or the other, you know. And also, I do, again, I'll say it again, as I said in my video before, my children in witchcraft video. I think it's also important to expose children to other cultures and other faiths. When you tell them about, hey, there's variety in the world, you really maybe should give them as well-rounded a view of said variety, you know. Maybe get them books about faiths that are totally not even in your household, you know. Maybe, you know, watch documentaries or shows about people of completely different walks of life, you know, different races, different nationalities, different, you know, cultural traditions, different religions. Giving children a good view of the world as a place that is full of variety can really, I think, stimulate your children's minds. And I think as well, it can help them to understand that people that are different can absolutely get along and absolutely learn from one another and absolutely, you know, like, nobody has to change and nobody has to, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, maybe a better way to say it is differences can absolutely be acknowledged and respected and celebrated. And they don't have to divide people, is what I'm trying to say. And this is very important, I think, to teach children when they are born into interspiritual or interfaith households. Because this I think, prepares them to be more whole, healthy people. People that are not biased out of ignorance against others. You know, people who won't be bound or burdened by, you know, dogma or zealousy or, you know, any of that kind of bullshit. And I think it gives your children, in such cases as, you know, children that are born into spiritual or interfaith households, it allows them to have a lot to gauge, you know, a lot, oh my God, I can't even talk. It gives them a lot of material from which they can choose what they believe, okay? It's not like they're just like A or B or C is not believing. You know, you're showing them, I think, when you show them variety of a lot of different faiths in the world and a lot of different, like, experiences and so on and so forth, beliefs that people have, you're showing them that different people believe things for different reasons. And it's not just like you have three choices. There is a whole plethora of beliefs out there. You know, in a way, you're kind of telling them, like, here's what's out there, what resonates with you. But you don't necessarily even have to have that conversation from a really early age. I don't think I don't think they really might necessarily be in a place of readiness to make such a choice at a really young age. But maybe when they start getting a little older, between like 16 to 18 maybe, and they start kind of formulating their thoughts and opinions about, like, what they really truly believe, maybe then they'll kind of start to gravitate one way or another. But I think if you give them a really good arsenal of understanding, you'll be helping them so much more, because then you let them find themselves just as you and your partner who have different faiths have had the liberty to find your beliefs, to find yourselves. I think you at least owe your children the same respect as a human being, to let them have the freedom and the ability to find what they believe. Excuse me. So, I guess that's pretty much what I have to say on this topic. I look forward to hearing what everyone else has to say. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's all I've got for you now. So I'm going to wish you blessed be and ashe. Have a great night. I'm filming this at night. You might not be seeing this at night, but have a great night or a great day. And until next time, until our next exchange, stay tuned to everybody's videos. If you have anything you'd like to share, add, ask, hit me up in the comments. You know, definitely stay involved. And until next time, yeah. Stay awesome. And bye-bye for now.